What's up, all sins and commandments alike? This is Griever, your host as always, bringing you guys the latest episode of 7 Deadly Sins' newest season, Revival of the Commandments. Alright guys, I've tried to record this 3 or 4 times. There's just so much information to go over, and my problem is, of course, I'm caught up with the manga, and I feel like I'm dropping too much information that we are not privy to for you anime-only viewers. And I'm trying my very best to just go about this by episode, and only what we know from watching the anime. Trying to just look at it that way, not trying to pick holes, not trying to name drop things that might be a little more important, not trying to spoil plot threads, because that's not fair. That's not fair. You guys want to watch my reviews. I want you to watch my reviews, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody who does not read manga or is not caught up. I was not a manga reader for a very long time. I was an anime only viewer, so I can contest to knowing you don't really want to know that stuff if you only watch anime. So I'm going to try my best here, guys, because there was so much information to go over in this episode. We start off, we see Galland's reaction to getting his shit kicked by Meliodas. I mean, he's clearly in dire straits here. And basically, so I don't name drop again, because I've had to re-record this a few times. Zeldris, Meliodas' confirmed brother in the last episode, so it's okay. The black-haired young guy, he states, well, here's what we're going to do. Ignore Meliodas. We're going to split off in groups of 2 or more, and we're going to go conquer Britannia. That's the end goal here. Build up our magical power, build up our strength, and then we'll be able to deal with any threat when it comes to us. For right now, we're going to do this. Now, this is where Dreyfus, or the commandment taking over Dreyfus, tells Zeldris, wait a minute now. He just warned us. You're going to declare war on Meliodas? Really? And Zeldris says to him, war? This ain't a war. This is an extermination, bitch. No holds bars there. The confidence level, they are brothers, Meliodas and Zeldris. They got confidence through the roof when they're determined about something. So anyways, they all take off in different directions, and we see them going through towns and in different. They go back to Vazir Rock, the Great Vazir or Vazel. I forget how it's pronounced, but a group of commandments shows up there, where of course the giant ass rock is still slammed down, and I forget if they are name dropped, the commandments that go through the town and the ones who end up there. Either way, we do see that Zeldris has remained behind, and we see the silver-haired, adult-looking version of Meliodas that looks strikingly like his wanted poster in the Boar's hat. They kind of agree to just chillax, remain. They're fine. Zeldris claims he's got something to do, and this fella says, we should enjoy the fresh air, sort of deal. Now, he hunches down after waking up from his nap, and a little bird comes down. I cannot explain what happens here, because even as far as the manga, guys, I cannot explain what happens here. This does not make sense to me as far as we know of this guy's powers and abilities. But a bird drops down on his arm, chirps at him, sort of deal, and he's all content and whatever. And then the bird seems to all of a sudden, morph and grotesque and this ugly, it reminds me of a homunculus, failed corpse from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, where it's this suffering, decaying thing that's not even recognizable anymore. A terrifying, monstrous thing. And that's when this guy just says, shut up, because it's croaking and writhing in pain sort of deal, and it blows up. So, what? Where does any of this come from, and how does it relate to the story? Your guys' guess is as good as mine, but we'll have to watch the rest of the anime to see what happens. Now, that being said, there is a group of, because we do see that Dreyfus ends up going to a town. I forget the name of the town offhand, but they go to this town, and we see a couple of younger-looking, almost children or young teenagers, saying, oh, well, there's there's Great Holy Knight Dreyfus, and one of the two people that sent us away, that were corrupted by, something not they noticed the tattoo and they say, that's not of human origin sort of deal. They sent us away during this time and stuff, and it's revealed that they are part of the paladins of, or I don't know how to say that other P word that some people call them, the paradise of Azura Sky. It's a group of knights that are specifically for one certain task. Now, I don't believe that that's been revealed yet in the anime. So see, here's where I'm trying to keep spoilers at a minimal. They mention a certain Sir Denzel and, going on his orders to apparently go after Dreyfus. They seem well equipped, but we're going to have to wait probably till the next episode or even later to see what goes on there. Finally, we jump over from all that, and we're back at the Druid Village, and Meliodas got his powers back. Of course, we see other people coming out of the tunnel. We see Elizabeth show back up in a new outfit, which Meliodas, of course, has to inspect. But he gets jealous when Hauser tries to inspect it, so there is that. But he shows back up, and everyone kind of gets mad at him, especially King, getting mad at him for being so careless and being so thoughtless. Like, why did you go provoke them? And Meliodas explains, because I did that, they're going to scatter, thinking conquering this place as quick as possible. As one guy, even I won't be able to take them all out sort of deal. Like, they are going to conquer. But that's in our favor, because right now, our group is not as strong as their group. If we take them head on, like the opening, we're going to lose. We're just going to lose. They're stronger than we are. But one or two at a time with me on this side, if we group up and kind of systematically, it's a good strategy. It's a good tactic. He knew they would split up like Zeldris said they would, and now they can start trying to take them down, on their playing field, not the other way around. That's all fine and good. Everyone still thinks it's pretty careless. We see some people come out of the tunnel. We see Hawk in this new dragon-esque red demon-looking form thing. And nobody gives a shit why he's like that from his training. Everyone continues to ignore him throughout the episode, and that's the running gag for the episode. We also see that Arthur and who goes in with him? Gother. Arthur and Gother show up. No one knows what happened during their training, but now there's this white ball of a cat on Arthur's head. Merlin inquires to what it is, which is strange because she basically seems to know everything in detail, and no one seems to know what it is. We do get a scene later on, before I forget, of Gother trying to remove the cat-looking thing from Arthur's head, and it stretches quite far and seems to be attached to Arthur right now. So, yeah, there is that. That being said, we also see that Elizabeth shows up, of course, the other pair that shows up is Slater and baby Griever. For some reason, when Slater and Griever went in, now Griever is a crying baby. That is not explained very well in this episode. I hope we get an explanation at some point, because where did the cat thing on Arthur's head come from? Why is Griever a baby? Because everyone who goes into these trials, no one came out with these radical changes like that. Meliodas went in, did his trial to get his powers back. Even the trial didn't give him his powers back. They had to break the goddess amber above his thing. Elizabeth, who apparently failed her trial, came back, and she was fine. King was fine even after going in. Gilthunder Hauser. I mean, does this mean that they failed their trials in some way when they came out? That's why there's such side effects? And for that matter, does that mean Griever failed while Slater succeeded? That's why Slater's okay? It's very hard to say, guys. I don't really fully understand it. Now, as I said, Elizabeth says, yeah, I'm sorry, I failed, sort of thing. Totally, completely, nothing good came out of it. So they end up leaving. Now, this is where Zanari, who is the sister who seems to have a thing for Meliodas, talks to her sister, and it's revealed that she never, out of jealousy, as the sister believes, out of jealousy, she did not put the seed inside the chalice for Elizabeth to try to make it grow. No, she didn't put a seed in there in the first place. And her reasoning behind this is that it's not because she's jealous, it's not because of Meliodas, it's because she fears what will happen if the princess is too close to Meliodas. The princess is too close to Meliodas, and it's revealed that she is apparently Liz's reincarnation. Now, I have my own thoughts and theories on that, being as far as we are in the manga. Now, I'm not going to say anything here because, as I said before, this is an anime-only episode, but I think we could all surmise that there was definitely a connection between Liz and Elizabeth at this point, and so far, this is the story we're given, is that they are reincarnation, that Elizabeth is the reincarnation of Liz. That's why Meliodas is so attached to her. And she fears that if Elizabeth dies, we'll have another Liz problem. His anger, he hasn't cut off his emotions, as he explained. He did not cut them off, so he can still boil to anger. You know, it's not a fixed solution completely yet. So that's a serious issue. Now, when they go outside, there's banter back and forth, but basically all you guys need to know is that they are going to start looking for Escanor, the last of the 7 deadly sins. Now, they go through power levels and all that stuff, and it's revealed that even though everyone else's power level is hanging between 2,000 and 3,000, right now, Meliodas' power level is 32,500. 32,500. So what is the point of having Gilthunder, Hauser, or anybody do anything anymore? Really? I mean, their power level jumped by about 400 or 500 when we're dealing with someone who's got 30,000 on them. It just feels like this is the point. This is the point that I think I've explained before, guys, where it went from Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z, where yeah, you had the Saiyan Saga, but after that, so many of these characters became useless. That's why they had to die. Yamcha was never going to be on Dragon Ball Z level. He just never was. He was never going to be strong enough to take on any of the foes, antagonists, or enemies during the second season, being Dragon Ball Z, in this case, the second series. He was a contender in Dragon Ball, just like Tien. Same with Tien. Tien held on pretty good for a long time, but for the most part, I mean, he's a great martial artist, but at the end of the day, he just didn't have, once again, the power. Krillin, same thing happened. Even Piccolo, to an extent, eventually fell off the radar. Like, all these characters eventually fall off. The problem is, this is very drastic. We're talking Gilthunder, who was a contender. He was a contender up until the last few episodes of the first season, has now basically been rendered useless, along with Hauser. Grimoire's a baby right now. Slater, we can confirm, is not that much, really, is he that much superior to the 2,300, 2,400 power levels? They don't state it, but I think we can surmise that. This is where you take a group of good characters with interesting powers, wind, electric, or lightning or whatever, and Grimoire, especially with the wall ability, that's interesting, that's cool and stuff. And Slater's overpower and stuff, even though it didn't really work on Galen, it's still an interesting ability. And I just feel like this is where the characters, this is the Saiyan Saga, where you have a massive battle and you try to kill off as many of them as you can with significant deaths, so it doesn't feel like you killed them all off unceremoniously, but it's like, yeah, they've become fodder at this point. And that's so unfortunate, guys. That is very unfortunate. I just feel like this was the point. Right here, when it's revealed the power gap between a Sin with his power back, his power at full, and it's revealed, of course, Escanor is even stronger than Meliodas at that 32,000. So where's the room for the rest of the cast? Where's the room for them? It's okay to have your main character be stronger than everybody else, but to have them not be contenders for the antagonists, I mean, you could have your complaints about things like Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach, being the big three. But can you honestly say, and the one I know the most about, let's call it Bleach, Ichigo might be the main character and really took on the main bad guys at the end of the day, but the subordinates of the main bad guy were still taken on. There are still 13 captains in the Gotei 13 alone. 13, that's 13 characters plus the main, not even counting the actual main cast being, you got Ichigo, Rukia, Orihime, Chad, and stuff, and people have complaints about them too with the power gap difference, but there are still plenty of ally characters in Bleach that were contenders for fighting final boss level villains, and it's just not present anymore. You have your main cast being the 7 Deadly Sins, and right now it feels like that's it. I feel like this is the point where that is growing too. These characters, I like these characters, and they still do great things. Little spoiler alert there. Sorry guys, it's very difficult to do. They're still relevant, and they're still in the story in a roughly good capacity, I'd say. But this is the moment where they weren't on that level. And I feel like this is where the gap keeps widening. From here, there's a crack, and it just, it continues to crack. It continues to spread. It's a crack in the foundation that eventually, breaks. That's pretty much what it is. I ranted off long enough about that, and I think I did a little too much spoiler-esque stuff, so sorry about that, guys. What else goes on here? We see Galen and Milasukla are reviving the dead. It seems they're going through a spell where we see a bunch of different scenes, but it's basically she's taking anybody who had regrets in purgatory, anybody who had regrets or has anger or bad emotions. Kind of reminded me a bit of The Grudge sort of thing, and those movies still freak me out when I think about them late at night. So now we're not going to go there too much. But that being said, guys, it's simply that she's taken the souls that have still lingered too long and basically bring them back to life with apparently enhanced strength and things like that. And they're here for vengeance. They're here for revenge. Because we see, husbands and children and everyone coming back for multitude of reasons. Now, this is where we see in the Fairy King's forest now a soul actually goes down to, of course, Elaine, and here's where Elaine is revived, but you can tell by her eyes and stuff, and she coats herself in a black dress of kind of crow feather looking thing, and she blasts away all the fairies being so jealous that they talk to Bon. They spent time with Bon. Bon is hers. And then she, pieces pretty much. She calls Oslo, no, it's Oslo, yeah, that's how it said. Oslo, the Black Hound of Harlequin or King, and that's where they have a conversation about the dead being revived. King's like, oh, well, Oslo left, I have to follow him, I'm going to leave, and how do you people trust Meliodas and stuff like that? And he ends up, he says his piece to everybody else that's in the boar's head, and he leaves to go back to the Fairy King's forest. It appears anyways. Now, finally, here at the end, we get Bon and Jericho, at Zhivago's grave sort of thing. They buried him, they gave him a gravestone, and they're doing the classic pouring the sake sort of, or the booze over the gravestone, and Bon takes a drink, of course, for him sort of deal. They have a small conversation, and we see a dead body come up. Jericho's like freaked out and stuff, and this one apparently hates women and stuff, and this is where it's revealed because his buddy punches through Bon, and Bon goes, superhuman strength, it seems, because a regular person can't punch through a body. Especially, you can imagine that Bon's body is probably a little more durable than the next guy's. So that all happens. He, crushes Buddy's head, no big deal, and then from behind Jericho, though, she gets blasted away sort of deal, and we see Elaine has stepped through the portal, and Elaine and Bon have finally reunited here at the end of the episode. She kind of stabbed him here, but not that it really seems to matter. We know she's not in her right mind, but Bon is just overjoyed that she's back, and they kiss. And then they kiss, and they kiss again. It's supposed to be a nice, tender moment and everything, guys. But once again, the whole lolly thing with Elaine. I mean, I know she's like hundreds and hundreds of years old. It doesn't make it right, guys. Just still kind of creeps me out a little bit. Just a little bit. It's hard to watch. Is all. It's hard to go and be like, oh, that's so sweet. Oh, that she looks like a kid though. That's kind of creepy. I'm just like that, guys. I don't know what you guys think. But anyways, guys, that's the end of the episode. It's pretty late, and I'm probably too loud for all the people trying to sleep in this house right now. So, anyways, guys, looking forward to episode 13. What did you think? Did I spoil too much for you anime-only viewers? Tell me in the comment section below. Always appreciate every view. Like, comment, subscribe. I know you guys have a mouse and a keyboard and a monitor, so I know you can do all three of those things. Thanks, guys, for watching. This has been Griever, of course. See you back here for episode 13. Peace out, guys.